Welcome, dear friend, to this quiet corner we have prepared, and thank you with a warmth that we hope you can feel for choosing to spend these restful moments with us. It has been our deepest wish to weave for you a gentle story, one crafted not for adventure, but to serve as a soft, comforting hand upon your shoulder, helping to guide you toward a peaceful and easy slumber. If, as you journey with us through these quiet halls, you find a measure of solace in this tale, please do, just before you set your device aside, show your appreciation by liking this story, subscribing to our channel, and perhaps leaving a kind word for others to find. Your simple gesture helps us to continue crafting these havens of tranquility. Before we cross the threshold into that hallowed quiet, where the scent of old pages and cool stone waits to greet us, we shall first share a moment of gentle breathing to settle your spirit. Now, let us invite a deep and true comfort to settle over you, much like soft moss finding its home in the cool crevices of an ancient wall. Find your most restful position, allowing your body to sink with a gentle weight into the support beneath you, feeling every part of you held in a safe and easy embrace. Draw your blankets around you, a soft cocoon against the world, and let your pillow cradle your head, making a perfect, cozy nook just for you. This is your time, a gentle pilgrimage into peace, where all the busy thoughts of the day may simply unfurl and drift away, inviting a quietness into your heart, as soft and profound as the ancient silence held within the ministry itself. Let us share a soothing breath together now, one as slow and contented as the ministry's own timeless existence. Gently and without effort, draw the air in through your nose, imagining it as a soft silvery light, cool and clean, filling every quiet space within you. Then release it just as gently, a soft and almost silent sigh of pure relief. With each slow, easy breath, feel your body softening, much like the supple cover of a well-loved book, letting go of any small knots of weariness you might be holding. Imagine the clean, cool fragrance of ancient dry vellum, the faint, sweet scent of chamomile, and the grounding aroma of stone that has been peaceful for a very long time, filling your senses and hushing the small, lingering noises of your day. If, by some chance, your thoughts begin to flutter, much like dust motes dancing in a pale beam of light, that is perfectly all right, dear one. Simply notice them, allowing them to drift on by like small clouds in a vast, calm sky, and then, with the gentlest of intentions, guide your attention back to the steady, quiet rhythm of your own breathing. There is nothing more for you to do now, save for listening and allowing the story to be a soft vessel, carrying you toward the deep and restorative rest you so richly deserve. Feel the ever-warm hearthstone's low, deep hum, a vibration that resonates with the very song of patience, gently coaxing your own body into a profound state of ease. Let us now begin our quiet journey into the heart of the Ministry of Perpetual Rest, where the gentle hum of ancient stones and the soft scent of sleeping dew await to cradle you in a serene and deeply restful sleep. Chapter 1. The Whispering Threshold. In a valley so ancient that the very air hummed with timeless peace, Nestled like a forgotten dream stood the Ministry of Perpetual Rest. Elara had not sought it on any map, for it existed beyond the charted lands of bustle and demand, found only by a quiet longing in the heart. Her journey had been one of gentle seeking, not of destination, but of a quiet space to simply be. As she approached, the world seemed to soften around her. The sunlight became diffused like light through a misty veil, and the sounds of the distant world faded into a gentle underlying hum that seemed to cradle all things. The air itself began to feel different, a delicate essence that hinted at the deep peace awaiting her. The ministry revealed itself slowly, its pale gray stone walls softened by clinging vines and patches of luminous pale green moss. It appeared not as a constructed building, but as a place that had risen organically from the earth, its curves mirroring the gentle contours of the valley. A heavy, silent wooden door, dark and smooth from centuries of soft touches, stood open just a crack, offering a sliver of deeper quiet. The wood felt cool and welcoming beneath her fingertips, devoid of any latch or handle, as if it had no need to keep the world out, or indeed to keep anyone within. She stepped across the worn threshold into a vestibule where the light was perpetually soft and muted, like the gentle twilight just before the stars appear. It was not dim, but diffused, washing over every surface with a calming, uniform glow that encouraged her eyes to rest. The pervading sound was indeed that gentle, almost imperceptible hum she had noticed outside, a low, constant vibration that seemed to quiet the very air, absorbing all sharp edges of sound and thought, leaving only a pervasive, comfortable silence. The air here carried a faint, sweet scent, a mingling of damp earth, night-blooming flowers, and something uniquely comforting, like a whispered lullaby. A silent presence, as soft and unhurried as a drifting cloud, greeted her. This was Lyra, a caretaker of the ministry. Lyra's eyes held the deep, knowing calm of ancient wisdom, and her movements were fluid and gentle, making no sound as she glided forward. She offered Elara a small, warm smile, a gesture of welcome that needed no words. There was no need for introductions or explanations. A profound understanding passed between them, a quiet acknowledgement of Elara's gentle yearning for rest. Lyra, with a soft inclination of her head, invited Elara to follow. They moved through a short, hushed corridor where the stone walls felt cool and smooth under Elara's fingertips. The light here was even softer, emanating subtly from the very stone itself, creating a gentle, luminous path. Elara felt the subtle weight of her past journey, the nameless exhaustion that had settled in her bones, begin to gently recede like mist dissolving in the morning sun. The air itself seemed to breathe around her, a slow, deep exhalation that invited her own breath to mirror its peaceful rhythm. The chamber Lyra led her to was simple, yet profoundly comforting. Its walls were the same pale gray stone, softened by tapestries woven in muted tones of lavender and soft green, depicting peaceful, sleeping landscapes. In the center, a bed stood ready, its wooden frame smooth and unadorned. The mattress looked impossibly soft, inviting, piled high with blankets of finely woven cloth in hues of restful blue and gentle cream. A faint, sweet scent like warm honey and distant rain seemed to emanate from the linens themselves, a promise of deep, untroubled slumber. As Elara approached the bed, she felt an overwhelming sense of invitation, a pull towards utter stillness. The very air of the chamber seemed to gently press down upon her, not with weight, but with a pervasive softness that encouraged every muscle to release its hold. She sank onto the mattress, and it yielded with a gentle sigh, perfectly cradling her form. The blankets, when she drew them up, felt like a comforting embrace, their soft weight a reassuring presence. Here, she knew, in this chamber of gentle welcome, she would find the rest she had long sought. With a final kind glance, Lyra departed as silently as she had arrived, leaving Elara in the deep, enveloping quiet of her new sanctuary. Elara closed her eyes, feeling the gentle hum of the ministry's air, the profound softness of the bed, and the comforting scent of the blankets. All the restless thoughts that had once danced in her mind seemed to gather themselves, forming a quiet procession. Then, slowly, gracefully, they began to drift away like leaves on a slow-moving stream, leaving her mind clear and utterly at peace. Chapter 2. The Chamber of Unburdening. The first deep slumber within the ministry was unlike any sleep Elara had ever known. It was not merely an absence of consciousness, but a profound act of restoration, like a long, gentle rain soaking into thirsty earth. She awoke not with a start, but with a slow, languid unfurling, feeling as if every cell in her body had been gently coaxed into a state of utter ease. The quality of light in her chamber remained that soft, diffused twilight, preventing any jarring awakening, and the air still carried its comforting, barely perceptible hum. She lay for a long while simply breathing, feeling the gentle weight of the soft blankets, the smooth texture of the woven fabric against her skin. Her shoulders, which she now realized had carried a subtle, constant tension for years, felt utterly released, as if a gentle hand had smoothed away every knot of worry. Her brow was soft, her jaw relaxed, and her breath was deep and even, flowing in and out with effortless grace. It was as though the very air of the ministry had breathed out the burdens she had unknowingly carried, leaving her light and utterly serene. Her gaze drifted around the tranquil chamber, noticing details that had been hidden by the first wave of sleep. On a small, smoothly carved bedside table, a single pale gray stone rested. It was polished to a soft sheen, its surface cool to the touch, yet emanating a faint, steady warmth, like a small, sleeping animal. She picked it up, feeling its perfect weight in her palm, a solid, grounding presence that resonated with the quiet hum of the room. It felt as if this humble stone had been holding a quiet vigil throughout her slumber. Through the arched window, which was framed by thick, soft curtains of muted green, she saw a garden, bathed in the same gentle, perpetual twilight. There, amidst lush, dark foliage, grew the luminous blooms. These were large, bell-shaped flowers of pale blue, soft green, and lavender hues, and they pulsed with a gentle internal light, a slow rhythmic glow that seemed to mirror the very beat of a restful heart. The sight was utterly enchanting, a silent, living dance of soft light that filled her senses with wonder and serenity. A soft knock, barely audible, came from the door. It was Lyra, moving with her characteristic quiet grace. In her hands, she carried a wooden tray holding a steaming mug and a small, smooth bowl of fragrant dried herbs. She placed the tray gently on the bedside table, the soft clink of ceramic against wood a gentle punctuation in the quiet air. The scent that wafted from the mug was of warm, spiced apples and a hint of lavender, a fragrance that instantly brought a profound sense of cozy contentment. Lyra offered the mug to Alara with a soft smile that reached her ancient eyes. Alara took the warm ceramic, feeling its comforting heat seep through her fingers. She brought it to her lips, and the first sip was a revelation. The herbal infusion was sweet, calming, and deeply soothing, warming her from the inside out. It was a taste of pure liquid peace, perfectly complementing the gentle warmth from the stone in her hand. Lyra then took a pinch of the dried herbs from the bowl and gently scattered them near the window, releasing a wave of sweet, earthy fragrance. The ministry, Alara realized, was a place of profound attentiveness to the small, quiet comforts. Every detail, from the softness of the blankets to the precise fragrance of the tisane, was meticulously chosen to foster peace and profound relaxation. There was no hurry, no expectation, no demand, only a pervasive invitation to simply be, to sink deeper into the embrace of stillness. The soft, rhythmic pulse of the luminous blooms outside the window seemed to be a silent conductor for her own slowing heart. As the last drops of the herbal infusion warmed her, Alara felt a subtle, almost imperceptible shift within her. It was as though the ministry's very essence was gently cradling her, dissolving the last lingering echoes of restlessness. She closed her eyes once more, a soft sigh escaping her lips, and drifted effortlessly back into a deeper, more profound slumber, a gentle, healing sleep that promised to leave her fully restored. Chapter 3. The Labyrinth of Quietude. Alara awoke not to the harsh clamor of a morning, but to the continued soft, diffused twilight of the ministry, feeling utterly renewed, as if every cell in her being had been gently polished by peace. Her movements were slow, unhurried, imbued with a newfound grace that mirrored the ministry's own languid pace. The very air around her seemed to sigh, carrying a faint, sweet scent of warm, spiced honey and cool, damp earth, inviting her to simply exist in this profound quietude. There was no urgency to her day, only a gentle curiosity to explore the ministry's inner world. She left her chamber, stepping into the hushed corridors that wound through the ministry like ancient, gentle rivers. The stone beneath her bare feet was cool and smooth, radiating a subtle, grounding warmth. These pathways were not straight or purposeful, but rather meandered in soft, curving lines, guiding her without direction. Small alcoves offered cushioned seats where one could simply pause, breathe, and observe the patterns of soft light filtering through tiny arched openings high above. Every turn offered a new vista of serene stone, interwoven with patches of the softly pulsing luminous, a constant visual lullaby. Occasionally, she would encounter other residents of the ministry. They moved with the same unhurried grace as Lyra, their steps silent, their faces calm. There were no conversations, no bustling activities, just quiet companionship. Some sat by small murmuring fountains in open courtyards, their eyes closed in gentle meditation, the soft liquid sounds of the water a soothing balm. Others tended to the luminous blooms in the tranquil gardens, their movements slow and deliberate as they carefully misted the glowing petals, their devotion a quiet prayer. The scent of the flowers was rich and comforting here, a deeper, sweeter version of the fragrance in her room. Ilara found herself drawn to one of the ministry's central courtyards, where the soft, diffused light from above fell upon a shallow pool of water. From this pool, a single slender stream of water rose, then fell back into itself with a gentle, continuous murmur. This was one of the whispering fountains. The sound was not a cascade or a gush, but an almost inaudible whisper, a liquid sigh that seemed to carry away any stray thought that dared to surface in her mind. The surface of the water was perfectly still, reflecting the soft, muted colors of the ministry's inner sky. She sat on a low, smooth stone bench beside the fountain, dipping her fingers into the cool water. It was profoundly refreshing, leaving a sensation of perfect clarity on her skin. As she held her hand beneath the water, she felt a subtle vibration, a faint, deep hum that resonated with the ministry's ever-present air, and it felt as though the water was whispering ancient lullabies directly to her fingertips. All around her, the air felt soft, like a quiet sigh, gently encouraging her to release any lingering remnants of everyday worry. Observing the other quiet residents, Ilara learned the art of unburdening, not through force, but through gentle acceptance. They did not strive for peace. They simply allowed it to settle. She watched as one resident, a person with eyes as calm as the still lake, carefully polished a smooth, dark stone, their movements slow and deliberate, their focus absolute. Another sat with hands resting on their lap, simply feeling the subtle warmth emanating from the stone beneath their seat. Each action was an act of quiet reverence, a practice of letting go. Her own thoughts, which once had the subtle weight of a heavy garment, now felt light and insubstantial, like autumn leaves drifting gently to the ground. She no longer sought to solve anything, to plan, or to remember with effort. There was only the present moment, rich with the soft scent of blooming night flowers, the gentle murmur of the fountains, and the subtle, continuous hum of the ministry's rest-infused air. This pervasive atmosphere wrapped around her, a constant comforting embrace. Ilara spent what felt like timeless hours in this peaceful exploration, her heart filling with a quiet gratitude. She understood now that the ministry was not just a place, but a state of being, a gentle invitation to profound stillness. She felt herself becoming more aligned with its languid rhythm, her own inner landscape mirroring the hushed beauty around her. The air itself felt soft, like a quiet sigh, drawing her ever deeper into the heart of undisturbed peace. Chapter 4. The Archive of Fading Echoes. As the gentle, ceaseless rhythm of the ministry wove itself deeper into Ilara's spirit, she found her steps often leading her to a particular doorway she had not noticed before, almost as if it had waited for her to be truly ready. It was an entrance of smooth, unadorned stone, distinguished only by a faint, almost invisible etching of a feather, so delicate it seemed to be a breath upon the surface. The air that flowed from within was subtly different from the ministry's pervasive calm, carrying a scent of pure silence and ancient comforting dust, a fragrance that hinted at deep, quiet histories. She pushed the door open, its movement utterly silent, and stepped into a vast, circular chamber lit by the same soft, diffused twilight that permeated the entire ministry. This was the archive of fading echoes. Unlike the other parts of the ministry, this room felt expansive, its high, domed ceiling seeming to stretch into an infinite, peaceful expanse. There were no shelves lined with books, no scrolls, no artifacts. The chamber was empty, save for a few low, smooth stone benches placed at intervals around the perimeter. In the center of the room, a gentle, mesmerizing phenomenon unfolded. Small, shimmering motes of light, like dust motes caught in a sunbeam, were slowly rising from the floor, swirling lazily as they ascended toward the distant ceiling. They were not bright or startling, but held a soft, pearlescent glow in shades of pale silver, soft gold, and ethereal blue. Ilara watched them, captivated by their slow, graceful dance, a silent ballet of release. The air itself felt lighter here, imbued with a profound sense of acceptance. Lyra appeared beside her, as quietly as a shadow lengthening in the soft light. The caretaker offered no explanation in words, but merely gestured towards the shimmering motes with a gentle hand. Ilara understood with a deep, intuitive knowing. These were the quiet remnants of anxieties, the subtle echoes of past worries, the forgotten burdens that visitors to the ministry had left behind. Here in this sacred space, they were not banished or fought, but simply acknowledged, then allowed to gently dissipate, transforming into light as they faded into the vast, accepting stillness above. Ilara sat on one of the smooth stone benches, its surface cool and grounding beneath her. She closed her eyes, breathing deeply of the air that tasted of pure silence, and began to observe the subtle echoes within herself. Lingering threads of hurriedness, the faint hum of past decisions, the almost imperceptible weight of expectations, they were all there, small and delicate. She did not try to push them away or analyze them. She simply acknowledged them, offering them to the gentle flow of the room's atmosphere. As she watched the shimmering motes rise, she felt her own internal echoes begin to soften. The subtle tension in her chest, the faint tightness around her eyes, gently loosened. It was as if the archive itself was breathing with her, exhaling her worries into the vast open space where they too could transform into light and dissolve. The process was not sudden, but a slow, tender unraveling, like a tightly wound thread gently coming undone. The scent of comforting dust mingled with the pure, clean fragrance of release. She noticed Lyra had moved to a section of the wall where small, faint patterns were etched into the stone, almost invisible until caught by a particular angle of light. Lyra traced them with a fingertip, her lips moving silently, a whispered fragment of ancient lore. It was a melody rather than words, a gentle hum that spoke of the patient turning of ages and of how stillness itself could absorb and transmute all that was weary. Elara felt a wave of profound acceptance wash over her, a deep peace that settled not just in her mind, but in every cell of her being. The light in the archive seemed to deepen in its tranquility, growing softer, more enveloping, as the last of the subtle echoes faded into the vast, luminous ceiling. Elara felt a lightness she hadn't known was possible, an unburdening so complete it left her feeling utterly spacious, clear. She was not empty, but filled with a quiet, vibrant stillness. The air itself felt soft, like a quiet sigh, a final profound release, leaving her heart resonating with an unshakable sense of calm and a deep, quiet gratitude for this sacred space. Chapter 5. The Carry Forward Calm. There came a moment, subtle and unhurried, when Elara felt a quiet readiness settle upon her, a feeling not of desire to leave, but of a gentle completion. The Ministry of Perpetual Rest had steeped her spirit in such profound tranquility that it was no longer an external force, but an inner wellspring. The ministry's gentle, pervasive hum now resonated within her very being, a silent melody of deep and abiding peace that she knew she could carry anywhere. She felt whole, not repaired, but restored to her most serene self. She sought out Lyra, finding her in one of the courtyards, carefully tending to a cluster of luminous blooms. The air here was cool and sweet, with the delicate scent of night-blooming flowers and damp earth, and the soft, rhythmic pulsing of the blooms cast a comforting glow. Elara offered a silent, knowing nod, a simple gesture of gratitude. Lyra returned it with a gentle, timeless smile, her eyes holding the same deep understanding that had greeted Elara upon her arrival. The parting was not a farewell, but a quiet acknowledgement of a peace now shared and carried forward. Lyra then pressed a small, smooth, cool stone into Elara's palm, a single unadorned pebble from the ministry's own ancient foundation. It pulsed with a faint, familiar warmth, a gentle, quiet beat that mirrored the tranquil rhythm of the ministry's air. It was a tangible anchor, a silent promise that the profound calm she had found here would remain accessible, a touchstone for stillness in the world beyond. Elara closed her hand gently around the stone, feeling its soothing presence, a quiet whisper of enduring peace. As Elara walked through the familiar corridors, her footsteps still silent on the stone, she felt a quiet reverence for every detail. She paused by the whispering fountains, listening to their soft, liquid murmur, Feeling its cool, cleansing touch on her fingertips one last time, she ran her hand along a patch of the softly pulsing luminous, absorbing its gentle glow and feeling its vibrant, quiet life. Every sensation was imbued with deeper meaning, a testament to the profound calm she had found in their presence. The air itself felt soft, like a quiet sigh, comforting her in this gentle transition. She stood before the ministry's heavy, silent wooden door, the one she had stepped through with such quiet apprehension. Placing her palm flat against its smooth surface, she felt its familiar low hum of timeless welcome. With a gentle push, the door swung open with its signature sonorous sigh, revealing the world outside. The light that greeted her was the soft, golden hue of a perpetually gentle late afternoon, a comforting warmth rather than a startling brightness. The air outside carried the fresh scent of distant rain and warm earth, and the gentle breeze rustling through the leaves of a nearby tree sounded like a soft, melodic whisper. Stepping across the threshold, she turned as the door swung shut behind her, with its final peaceful tune sealing the ministry's profound stillness once more. Yet the quiet did not leave her. It resonated deep within her, a vast, tranquil space that had been opened within her own heart. The world outside seemed to breathe with a new, softer quality. The colors of the wildflowers on the hillside were more vibrant, yet gentler, and the distant birdsong sounded richer, more harmonious. She held the warm stone from Lyra in her hand, its steady, gentle pulse, a tangible reminder of the peace she now carried. The nameless exhaustion, the subtle burdens she had brought with her were utterly gone, replaced by a sense of effortless ease. Her breath was deep and calm, flowing with the same gentle rhythm as the ministry's restorative air. She felt a profound sense of inner stillness, a silent wellspring of peace that would forever be her own. With a soft, contented smile, Ilara began to walk, her steps unhurried, her path guided not by maps, but by the quiet certainty of her restored spirit. She did not know where she was going, but she knew that the deepest rest had been found not in a destination, but in a state of being, a peace she could carry always. The story closes here, not with an end, but with a gentle continuation, leaving the listener adrift on that same soft tide of contentment, ready to be carried into a deep and profoundly restful sleep.